Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. The revision PDF are uploaded on this Telegram channel. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now, let's start. With reference to Starstreak air defense system, India has recently teamed up with which country? So this country is UK. Now, please note that this explanation is part of GKToday paid program. However, if you are following these videos seriously and if you are making notes from them, you need not to do anything extra. So, India's Bharat Dynamics and global aerospace company Thales have signed an agreement for the collaboration for Starstreak air defense system. This will be done with the support of Government of India and Government of UK. Now, after this collaboration, Bharat Dynamics Limited will be able to offer this system to Indian Armed Forces with 60% indigenous content. Indigenous means Indian content. So, UK was also in news as it is going to be the host of G7 summit. Recently, it invited India. This BDL, that is Bharat Dynamics Limited, is a public sector undertaking. It is under Defense Ministry and it was formed in 1970. Headquarters is in Hyderabad. Google has removed the personal loan applications in which country amid safety concerns. So recently Google decided to review personal loan applications in India and a lot of applications were removed. Why so? Because they were involved in fraud. Previously RBI also warned that public should not fall prey to these unauthorized digital lending platforms and mobile applications. Now, in response to that, Google reviewed these applications and removed which were involved in the fraudulent activities. So, these applications were removed in our country. And keeping this in mind, that means keeping this unauthorized digital lending platforms in mind, recently RBI decided to constitute a committee. And this is a 6-member committee. This is to be headed by Jayant Kumar Dash. So, this committee has been constituted for the regulation of digital lending space. That means this committee will suggest the guidelines that how this digital lending platforms should be regulated. RBI is our central bank. Present RBI governor is Shaktikant Das. A team of scientists from which organization has entered China to probe the source of coronavirus. So it was a team from WHO. This arrived in Wuhan province of China to investigate the origin of coronavirus pandemic. Now WHO is World Health Organization. It was formed in 1948. Please note that the headquarters of WHO is in Geneva in Switzerland. As of now, WHO DG, that is Director General, is Tedros Adhanom. There is an executive board of WHO. Recently, this board was in news as our health minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, became the chairperson of this executive board of WHO. The parent organization of WHO is UN Economic and Social Council. Which state celebrates Tiruvalluvar Dinam to honor the famous philosopher poet Tiruvalluvar? So this state is Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu celebrates this Tiruvalluvar Dinam to honor famous poet Tiruvalluvar. Now, please note that he was famous poet and his famous work was Tirukural. And this day is celebrated on the second day of Tamil month Thai. So why it was in news recently? Because recently, on the occasion of this Tiruvalluvar Dinam, Prime Minister addressed. So it was celebrated on 15th of January. Now, 15th of January is also important because it is celebrated as Army Day. Recently, Tamil Nadu was also in news because of Kollam. Kollam is a traditional art of Tamil Nadu. So why it was in news? Because it is the part of virtual ceremony of inauguration of US President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. So this art form was the part of their inauguration ceremony. That is why it was in news. It is related to Tamil Nadu. It is a traditional art form. Which statutory organization recently observed its 57th foundation year on 14th of January? So this is FCI, that is Food Corporation of India. It was established in 1965 and it was established on 14th of January. So this year it celebrated 57th Foundation Day. It is a statutory body under Food Corporation Act of 1964. and it is under Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. The headquarters of FCI is in New Delhi. Previously, this Ministry of Consumer Affairs was in news as its minister, Mr. Ramvilas Paswan, passed away. After his death, the charge was given to Mr. Piyush Goyal. So this 14th of January was celebrated as FCI Day, that is Food Corporation of India Day. 14th of January was also celebrated as Veterans Day by Indian Armed Forces. National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research has been created under which organization? So this has been created under CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. So the new institution is CSIR NIS CPR. What is NIS CPR? It is National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy. So this has been formed by the merger of these two institutions. One is CSIR NIS CAIR and second is CSIR NIS TADS. So it is going to be like this: CSIR NIS CAIR plus CSIR NIS TADS. So after the merger of these two institutions, new institution has been formed and it is CSIR NIS CPR. And the foundation stone for this new organization was laid down by Dr. Harshvardhan, who is the Union Minister for Science and Technology. Present Director General of CSIR is Shekhar Mande, and the President of CSIR is Prime Minister. That means whosoever is going to be the Prime Minister of our country will be the President of CSIR. It was established in 1942. Which ministry has permitted to classify expenditure made on COVID-19 vaccination awareness under CSR? Now first thing first, what is CSR? So CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility. Recently, this MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, announced that the funds spent on the awareness programs and campaigns on COVID-19 vaccination will be classified as CSR. In simplest term, corporate companies have social responsibility. So they spent a certain amount of their profit on social activities, for example, in literacy campaigns, in sanitation, or in women empowerment campaigns. Now, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has specified that if companies are going to spend money on awareness campaign for COVID-19 vaccines, then that will be considered as CSR. That means now, even this will be under the part of CSR. The activities which are allowed under CSR are specified in the 7th schedule of Companies Act of 2013. Please note that India is the first country in the world to mandate CSR spending, and the concept of CSR is governed by the Clause 135 of Companies Act of 2013. Activities which are allowed under CSR are mentioned in the 7th schedule of Companies Act. LCA Tejas is manufactured by which organization? So it is manufactured by HAL, that is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Why it was in news? Because recently CCS cleared a proposal for the procurement of LCA Tejas aircrafts. CCS is headed by Prime Minister. Now these LCA Tejas aircrafts are designed and manufactured by HAL, that is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And for these LCA Tejas, Indian Air Force is going to sign a contract with HAL. Therefore, HAL will supply these aircrafts to Indian Air Force. Now, what is LCA? It stands for Light Combat Aircraft. What is HAL? It is a PSU, that is Public Sector Undertaking. It is under Defense Ministry. And as of now, the Chairman and MD of HAL is R. Madhavan. What is the name of software jointly launched by NIC and CBSE? What is NIC? It is National Informatics Center. CBSE is Central Board of Secondary Education. So the name of software is Collab CAD. This has been jointly launched by CBSE and NIC. So this software will allow students to create and modify 3D digital designs. Now, three institutions, that is NIC, CBSE and Atal Innovation Mission, will release a comprehensive e-book on this Collab CAD 3D modeling. This Atal Innovation Mission is an initiative of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is an executive body. Prime Minister is the ex officio chairperson of Niti Aayog. This NIC, that is National Informatics Center, is attached office under MEITY, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So these were the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important news events. So first is Bishwajit Chatterjee. So Mr. Chatterjee has been selected as Indian Personality of the Year in India International Film Festival, and this festival is in Goa. Next is Adaptation Gap Report. So this report has been released by UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Program. The headquarters of UNEP is in Nairobi in Kenya, and for this report UNEP has collaborated with World Adaptation Science Program. Next is Telecom Equipment and Services Export Promotion Council. So as the name suggests, it is a council for the promotion of exports of telecom equipments and services. Why it was in news? Because now Sandeep Agarwal has been appointed as the new chairperson of this council. Next is Commonwealth of Cricket. So this is a book by Ramchandra Guha. Next is US-India Business Council. So this is a business council to promote business between India and USA. Recently, 3 new vice chair were elected. Vice chair of this India-US Business Council. The president of this council is Nisha Bishwal, and 3 vice chairs are Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, Edward Knight, and Milind Pant. So Kiran Majumdar-Shaw is associated to Biocon. Actually, she is the executive chairperson of Biocon. Edward Knight is the vice chairperson of Nasdaq, and Milind Pant as the CEO of Amway. Next is Saksham campaign. So this is a campaign to spread awareness about the green energy and fuel conservation. It is organized every year, and this is a campaign by PCRA. What is PCRA? It is Petroleum Conservation Research Association. So you just need to remember 4 points. First, name of campaign, it is Saksham. Why it is launched? It is launched to spread awareness about the fuel conservation. It has been launched by PCRA. It is Petroleum Conservation Research Association, and this is a organization associated with Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Next is One School, One IAS. So this is new program launched by Kerala government. The idea is to provide free coaching for UPSC Civil Services examination. Next is International Migration 2020. So this is a report which was recently released by UNDESA, that is United Nations Department of Economics and Social Affairs. So as per this report, 18 million Indians are living outside India, and therefore it is world's largest transnational community. India is on top position, Mexico is on second position, and Russia is on third position. Next is National Innovation Portal. So recently this portal was launched by Dr. Harshvardhan, and this has been developed by National Innovation Foundation. This National Innovation Foundation is under DST. DST is Department of Science and Technology. Actually, there are 2 departments under Science and Technology Ministry. One is DST, that is Department of Science and Technology. Another is DBT, that is Department of Biotechnology. Next is NDRF Day. So NDRF stands for National Disaster Response Force. So it celebrates its raising day on 18th of January. NDRF has been constituted as per the provisions of Disaster Management Act of 2005. NDRF is under MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. Next is Rakshita. So it is name of initiative by DRDO and CRPF. DRDO is Defense Research and Development Organization. CRPF is Central Reserve Police Force. So it is a bike ambulance. So this facility will be used in Naxal affected areas so that ambulance facilities can be provided in quick time. Next is Manish Kumar. So the sanitation worker from Delhi became the first in our country to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. And last news is related to CPCB. CPCB stands for Central Pollution Control Board. Why it was in news recently? Because it released a report, and as per that report, only 10% of e-waste was collected in 2018-19. That shows that our e-waste management system is not working properly. Now what is e-waste? It is electronic waste. For example, you were using your mobile phone, now it is old and you are not using it, so it is electronic waste. Similarly, any electronic item which is not being used, so it is electronic waste. Recently, India's first e-waste clinic was set up in Bhopal, and this was with the collaboration of CPCB and BMC, that is Bhopal Municipal Corporation. Bhopal is in Madhya Pradesh. Now coming back to CPCB, so CPCB is under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and it was established in 1974 under this Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. So these were the most important events. Now test question. So first is, which Indian armed force signed a contract with a private company to procure high altitude switch drones for $20 million US? Second is, which country has recently unveiled $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package? Third question is, which technology major has recently acquired Fitbit? Fourth is, James Naismith was associated with which game? Fifth question is, on which day the Armed Forces Veterans Day is celebrated in our country? Sixth question is, Juri Ratas was the Prime Minister of which country? Seventh question is, who is the head of RBI's working group on regulation of digital lending space? Eighth question is, Padam Shri Awardee D. Prakash Rao was associated with which field? And ninth question is, on which day the Army Day is celebrated? One more important point, why we celebrate Army Day? Please read about it. So that was all for the day. The answers of these questions will be discussed if more than 500 students are going to comment their score. Thank you, and that's all for the day.